Today I want to show you how to upgrade bullet lists from a list of text on a screen to images that seem to be revealed as the cover is pulled away from them while previous images fade in the background, keeping your audience focused and still allowing you to show all 6 on screen as you make your summary. Today, I'll show you how to do this with Keynote on an iPad. Let's get started. Look at our Keynote file open here on our iPad, and we have our bullet list slide. This is actually very helpful for you as a presenter, but not what you want to put on screen for your audience. Even with this clean slide and a uniform look of fonts and colors, it doesn't communicate as much as an image could. And we're going to show you how to change that today, like I demoed at the beginning of the video. The first thing we want to do is look at these 6, and we need 6 images, one that will show the audience each of these locations on our bucket list instead of just giving them words. We have that list. We're going to go into Safari. On our iPad in Safari, one of the 2 websites I recommend is called Unsplash. Great royalty-free photos, imagery for you to use. Another one I recommend is called Pixabay. Both of these links are in the video description below. Both of these offer great images and resources you can use, and Pixabay actually has, as you can see on here, illustrations, vectors, videos, music, sound effects, and GIFs, a whole lot more. But for today's purposes, the images I found that worked best were here on Unsplash. If you're on the site, you click in that search bar. Let's say we type in Machu Picchu, and these images come up, but we want to filter them. We right now want to use the free license, so we'll click on this little drop down and choose free. If you want to pay, you can use the Unsplash Plus and have access to more images. And then orientation, we have a landscape presentation, so we're going to choose just show us landscape images. We don't want to do a bunch of fancy cropping today. Then we can scroll down here and look at these images. We find one that we want to use, tap on it. When you go to download, you can choose what size it is. We want to choose one the same size as our screen, and we'll tap on it. Do you want to allow downloads? Yep, download. Once you've downloaded all of your images, you want to bring them into Apple's Photos app. So you'll go to downloads in Safari or in your file browser, bring them in and create an album with just the images you want to use in your presentation. And here's why. When it comes time to set up your presentation, now you have one spot you can easily go to and find all the images you need for your presentation. Now, let's head back into Keynote. Here we are in Keynote, and we'll zoom in here so you can see it a little bit better. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add another slide. So we'll go down to the bottom here, click, and we'll choose this black gradient slide we have. We know that we want to have 6 images on our screen. We want them to be uniform, and so we're going to go up here and we're going to insert a table. This is a great way to make a little guide for our images. We'll go down to the bottom and we'll change this from 5 to 1. We only need 1 row, but at the top, we want to change this from 4 to 6. Now, with that selected, if we go up here and choose the paintbrush for format and click on cell, you can change the border. We'll tap on here. We're going to start with the very left border. We're going to go to width. We're going to change this all the way to 40. Now we'll go up and choose the center dividers. Again, set these up to 40. Then we'll go to the far right side and set that one to 40. It doesn't matter if these are different colors, because now what you're going to do is take this table and you're going to drag it over here to the very far left side of your slide and line it up at the top. So it's just at the edge there. Then use one of these blue handles and drag down to make it the same height or a little bit taller. Overlapping is fine. You can drag this up so it's all lined up. Now click this blue handle and make this as wide as your slide is. Overlapping a little bit on that side as well. Now we don't want this to get moved while we're working on the actual part of the images, so we'll go up here to arrange and we'll lock it. Now it's not going to move around. It's ready to go. Next thing we're going to do is add a shape that's going to be a placeholder for our image. And so we'll choose this square or rectangle. It blends in with that white, and so we're going to go over here and just make it yellow. Under the paintbrush for format, style, we'll make it yellow. Then we'll drag it over here to the left. Make sure it lines up right at or above the top of your slide. Then drag the handle and make it about the same width as that first column is. Drag the bottom one, and again, make it about as tall as your slide. That center guide lets you know you've gone top to bottom. Now we're going to tap on the slide, and we're going to choose copy from the menu that comes up. Tap somewhere off this slide and hit paste. Now drag that rectangle to where it is filling in that next column, and it's centered along with the other one. Tap the first one with one finger on there. Tap the second one, copy. Again, off the screen, paste. Your 2 images show up. Now you're 2/3 of the way done. Just got to drag them into place. And now again, just tap on it, copy, off the screen, paste, drag them into place. Now you're ready to go. But you do want to get rid of that table you had. We're going to click on any one of these squares and go up here to the paintbrush to format and choose arrange. And this little slider allows you to draw it from the front to the back. And so the far right is the top level, the far left is the back. We're going to drag it all the way to the back. And now if we tap on the screen, we can get the handles showing up that we've got that whole back table set up, but it's locked. But it shows us over here, real obvious. You just tap unlock. As long as that table is being shown, you go over here and tap the top left corner. When the option comes up, you choose delete. And now you've removed that guide from your background and you're ready to go. Now, obviously, we want to bring our images in here. And so we'll go up here, choose photo or video. So now we had that album already put together. Our first image is going to be Machu Picchu. So we'll tap on it. It'll bring it in full screen. We're going to go over to arrange. We're going to drag it all the way to the back. Then we're going to use a little shortcut here. We're going to hold our finger off the slide and drag it down, selecting both the image, which is in the background, and the first rectangle. When we do that, we have this option to mask with shape. When we click on that, it crops out the image to fit the same as the shape that was covering it. We hit done and it's ready to go. We can edit that later, but right now it gets our first image. Remembering what our 6 bullet points are, we now go back and add each of the other images in the same way, dragging them to the back, selecting by dragging off the screen onto that and the shape, mask with shape, and then being able to have all 6 images ready to go. Now we have all 6 images on our screen ready to go. Now we want to make a little bit of a touch up here. And again, this takes more work than just typing words on a screen, but it's much more engaging for your audience. We'll tap on our first image, go over here under that paintbrush format to image and choose edit mask. Now we can slide this image left and right to wherever we want to show on the screen. I kind of like showing that part right there. Click done. And do the same for each of these to get the exact part that we want to show of that photo on that little bar. Okay, now we have each of the 6 images cropped the way we want it to show what we want to show on the screen for our bucket list bullet list. So now we're going to go back up to this slide and we're going to need 6 more of these. We have to have one to show each of these individually and then one that will show all of them again as a summary. So we're going to tap on it and we're going to choose duplicate. So now we have 2. And if you tap on one and hold it and tap on another, they're both selected. Now you can duplicate both of them. If that doesn't work, don't worry. Just duplicate one and do your way until you have 7. Now I know I need 7 and I have 4 already. So I could tap on one, hold it, tap on another, and tap on another. So I have 3. Now if I duplicate, I have all 7. Do whatever you have to do so where you have all 7 slides ready to go. So the next thing we want to do is set up each of our slides. We know on the first slide, we're only going to show this first image. It's our first point. So we can click anywhere off of that slide and drag to select all those images, and then we can delete them. We'll do the same thing with each of these slides, leaving one more than we did before. Now that's set up, we'll go back to our first slide in the series here. We're going to tap on that image on the slide. We're going to go to the top here to our animate. We're going to go down here to add build in. We're going to go over and choose white. Look anywhere else on the screen. Then go down here and adjust the settings. We want it to go just for 0.7 seconds. So we'll tap on here and drag our finger across to make it 0.7. Direction, we're going to come from the bottom. So you actually click on the top to show where it's going. So from the bottom, we'll tap back and then start not on tap, but after transition. That means as soon as that slide is shown, the animation begins. And then we're done with that one. Now, while we're still in here, we can tap on the next slide and do the same thing, but reverse it. We went from the bottom. Now we're going to go from the top. So we'll add build in. It puts your recent ones over here. So it's easy to find wipe again. Tap off of it somewhere, tap on here, Duration, drag it back down to 7. Tap on the bottom now so that it comes from top. And again, not on tap, but after transition. Go over there. Next slide. Keep doing this with each of your slides until you've animated all 6 images, alternating from top to from bottom, from top. So we've done that. We'll click done. Now we've got these all animated. The problem is, what happens when you get to slide 2? The problem with bullet points is that you have too much information on the screen. You don't want to copy that problem when you use images. So on this slide, we're going to tap on this first image. We're going to click on animate again, and this time we're going to choose add action. And this is going to be opacity. Again, click off of it, same as you did before. Click back on it to change the settings. We want this to be faster, about 0.5 seconds. We want the opacity not to be 50, but to be all the way down to 20%. We want this to start with build 1, with no delay. That should be ready to go. Now we'll go to each of these slides and do the same thing. Take the image that came on before, add the action. Duration is 0.5. Opacity is all the way down to 20%. And it happens with the first build at the same time. All of those are set up, and so your main point will shine while the previous one will fade into the background, but the one before that will be an issue. So we go to our third slide here in that series. This image here, we don't want to put an action, so we're going to go ahead and hit done. But we're going to go over to the format again, that paintbrush icon, our inspector, style, and here we can slide the opacity down to 20%. Because in the previous slide, it would have already faded there, so now it will stay there, no more action. On that previous slide, it was the first image. We're going to add one more each time. Instead of doing that to each image, click off of the slide and drag down till both images are selected. Now go over under Format Style, set your opacity at 20%. Next slide, it's going to be 3 this time. So click off the slide, drag down to select all 3. Opacity is at 20%. Last one, this set, we're going to click and drag 4 because that 5th one's going to fade. We're going to set this to 20%. Now, a lot of times in presenting, less is more. So we're not going to add a transition or animation between the slides. There's enough going on when each slide comes on. But between the slide where the 6th point comes up and we want to show all 6, we do want to add an animation here. So you click on the slide and then choose transition. Go to the bottom and click add transition. We're going to make it really simple and just choose dissolve. Click off of it. Again, same rule of thumb applies for slide transitions as it does for object animations. We're going to bring this down to about 0.7 seconds. That's ready to go. So we hit done. And now we click on that slide. And if we were to go in here and to play our presentation, either demo or on our screen, we now have replaced that simple list of text with this animated images that we bring on as we talk. When we go to the next one, the previous one fades and they stay faded. So we can focus on what it is we're talking about all through our presentation. And then at the end, we allow all of them to shine to give our summary. And if your audience were to question you, or you can bring it up yourself, man, I'd love to see more of that image than just that little sliver. You can say, today, I've only been able to share with you a sliver of the information available on each of these locations, each of these points. Leave them hungry to find out more. Maybe even leave a call to action based on what you've given them a short summary of here today. That's just one way to upgrade your bullets in a presentation with Keynote on iPad. I've got more videos showing you that both for Keynote on iPad and for Mac, and general presentation tips. If this video was helpful for you, please give it a like. If you want to find out more helpful content on presentations and Keynote, then subscribe to this channel. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.